5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Do not go away. Do not touch that screen. There we are. Now, normally I start the shows with good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good day. That could so apply because we've been doing this time. And far be it from me to ever say that we were kept waiting by a woman. Now, you know,
that's not going to be the first time you've said that in your life, is it?
No, not with my ex, no. Even before we got married, I used to say that, like, what time should we meet tonight? And if it was like 7:30, I'd always say 7 because I knew she was going to be late, so I knew she'd be there for 7:30.
Yeah, that's what my ex did with me and some of my friends, and it doesn't work because you catch on to it.
Yes.
Yeah, we're across all time zones today, Chris. We just didn't intend to be.
No. And of course, and I thank you for coming on at lunchtimes because it is your lunchtime and obviously it does revolve around work. Tom says, hi, Tom. I think the lads were in at 12, which was the original time that I put up to start this, just as a general, just to get it up on the site. And then it got put back, and then Kate was delayed at work, and then we've just been having a natter. But we're here. Subscribe, like, follow, and share, and do all that shit, if you would. And if you're listening on your favourite podcast platform, thank you very much indeed. Right, Kate. We were kind of right. Well, you were kind of right last week, give or take a bit of a few changes. But let's see what you've gone for this week, which isn't a big change really. I'm going to sort of. Oops, hang on, my battery's falling down. There we go. Again, the goalkeeper. You know, it goes without saying. You know, and long may he stay fit enough to be the starter when you look at the other options. Can I just say as well?
Be Marti in the top right, by the way.
It is, yes.
He looks so grumpy.
Well, he's next to you. He can't get a word in. You know,
give him a bit of slack.
And can I just say how proud I am that when I do a picture of you, that you go out to buy the outfit to match it.
I just literally bought a pair of kecks like that. So, it's weird that you know that, but let's just move swiftly on from that, I think.
I think we should.
There's a spider on my wall, so if I keep looking up, it's because there's a spider on my wall.
Oh, no.
He's quite little.
Look at me. Yeah. That's probably worse, actually, isn't it?
Come on.
Yeah. Again, we've got 4-2-3-1, which is, you know, we're stuck with that because that's Marty's favourite starting lineup. But yeah, we say so. He says Castellarchi in goal. Didn't have much to do in the last game, though, did he?
No, he didn't. No, I thought, considering how potent Coventry had been in front of goal, they didn't test us that much at all. There was the odd moment, but I expected to have much more of a hard time than we did. So yeah, Jakob was didn't have to do much, did he?
No, not at all. And obviously a couple of returnees in the back four, and you put them to start this week. By the way, the numbers is how many goals they've scored. And obviously the yellow card is if they've picked up yellow cards or not. And that wasn't all in the last game. That
just means they're on one card.
It does, but it will stay like that because I haven't got the opportunity to put it up. Somehow add numbers on there. It gets confusing. But look, we finally saw Ricardo start.
Yeah. And
I mean, this is the third clean sheet of the season. So we've got more clean sheets in 6 games than we did under 30 odd with Rude last season. But it was good to see him come on, and I think you made the comment, didn't you? When he went off, we did lose something there.
Yeah, we know the kind of quality that Ricardo brings in. Really, we know he's probably not where he used to be pre-injury, but we know we had a world-class player on our hands for a period, and he still shows signs of that. And he just has the quality, and you feel massively reassured when he's on the pitch. And I think that helps Fast as well, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the quality definitely dipped when he went off. But look, we have got to manage him a bit. He is coming back from yet another injury, which I think was a hamstring problem. So, I mean, I'll just be happy if he starts tomorrow, meaning that he got through last week okay. Like, it's kind of game by game with Ricardo, isn't it? I hope the 70-minute substitution was because it was tactical and that they wanted to have a mind on this week, because we've got quite a few games now, haven't we? We've got 3 games in the fortnight. So for Ricardo's body, that's a lot. So, yeah, we just need to manage him a bit. He might even be able to do 90 tomorrow or 85 or something. Who knows?
I mean, I've got to say, you know me, I was screaming for Ricardo to come back. And I think, if you've got I would sooner see Ricardo play 70 and go off than come on for 20, because, we're not always going to be able to come back if we're losing. Start with your best players. He is on a lot of money, but even if he was fully fit and hadn't got any injury history at all, for him at his age to play a game we're lucky it's on Friday, so he has got like an extra day, but Friday to Tuesday, I wouldn't necessarily expect him to play those 2 games anyway.
Yeah, maybe not. We'll just have to see. It just depends how protected we can keep him. But it's nice that he's surrounded by James and Winks as well, who give him that option and are also comfortable ball players. Samare and Skip don't offer that outlet for him. So it will hopefully help his recovery and just able to maintain the fitness, really.
Do you start him if he's going to start one game? And like I say, that wouldn't bother me because they are sort of, these midweek games we've got coming up now. Would you start him against West Brom or would you start him against Wrexham?
West Brom, I think.
Yeah. God, we're going to have to stop agreeing. What is this?
It's a really shit show when there's no arguments, doesn't it?
It is. Well, I'll find something to argue about later. Thomas. Now, this was interesting because I like Thomas and I think he should start. There's a bit of within the sort of the presenters group, a bit of a sort of, or when they've been on shows, should VK start? I mean, he came back last week. But, VK gets forward, and people say, well, but when he gets forward, he doesn't do anything with it. But last season, which was sort of the last time he played, really, when he got forward, there was nobody in the box for him to pass to. So, but I think Thomas, and I was just reading sort of the notes from the press conference, he's very, very impressed with him, Marti.
Yeah, I heard that clip earlier. I've not seen the full press conference, but I heard the clip on the radio earlier that he said that about Thomas. I mean, he's been pretty steady. I mean, he's not going to set the world on fire. We know this, but he has been steady. And for me, he's definitely the preference over VK. And he's not done anything to lose his position as far as I'm concerned at the moment.
I mean, his actual, it says here, according to the BBC, Roden, you remember, the 24-year-old is one of the best performers in the squad. But it takes, and I've got to say, I'm the same with some of the other players. You'll know who they are. Once you kind of get a disliking for a player, it kind of, sticks there, doesn't it? It takes a lot to sort of wear that away. Talking of which, and in fairness, I was all for this. Faze coming back, Vestergaard staying there. again, last season when you saw these two in the lineup, you're thinking, "Oh, for fuck's sake!"
We're not
How many are we going to lose by now? But I've got to say, look, clean sheet against, a high-flying team that scored 12 goals in 2 games. They did all right. I was a bit worried when Ricardo got caught out of position a few times. Faze looked a little bit sort of like, oh shit. he was on his own trying to cover that whole area. But again, he had a solid game. And as we said the other day, Kate, if his head's now in the right place, which you'd think it will be at least up till January, does he start over a Coley every time?
I hate to say it, but I think, yeah.
Mm.
I don't like Fass's attitude. I think there's always a chance to redeem yourself, and hopefully he's going to do that. But I do think that he's got a pomp about him that he thinks he's a little bit better than Leicester.
Mm.
The fact of the matter is, no one came in for him, and we pay him, and that's that.
Yeah.
Him and Vestergaard are very comfortable as a partnership. They've played together for a long time now, so. And with Ricardo there as well, like I said, I feel like there's extra comfort blanket there. Like Ricardo can cover fast, which JJ wasn't really able to do. The two of them at times was a problem. And then obviously JJ used to have Buonanotte sat in front of him, who didn't help him either. But now Ricardo's got James and Winks in front of him. Like it feels really way more secure. And I think that's why we've been able to keep clean sheets. So yeah, Fass absolutely has a shit your pants moment in him every game.
He does, but then does not a Coley.
Yeah, he's starting to cope better, and I think others can foresee it a bit and help to reinforce, if you know what I mean. So.
Yeah. I mean, do you think it was? A Coley hasn't really done anything wrong. Yes, he's always got a rick in him, unfortunately, but he's still young by comparison. I mean, I think his time will come, and I don't think he's a player, if we don't have to, that we should look at selling.
What, a Coley, you mean?
A Coley, sorry. Yeah.
Coley, I don't. Unless good money comes in for him, I don't think we will. I mean, look, this is the season that we might actually see some proper progression with Leicester City. We've got rid of some high earners. We've got some loan players that we're not having to commit to definitely take on if we get into the Premier League. You know, if we get into the Premier League next year, there could be changes afoot. Hopefully we'll have more money to spend as those horrible PSR years will have dropped off. Like this is the year where you start to make proper inroads in what we've all been talking about has been wrong at Leicester City for the past 3 or 4 years.
Yes, yeah. Look, going into the defensive midfield role, I think we're both glad to have Winks back. Again, a bit like Faze, it was, headspace for him, wasn't it? And where he was with the club. And I think, the end of the Hartlepool game, I think we all knew where he was, and it wasn't going to be at Leicester. But in fairness, and he is a professional, and he's a bit older. He's not like he's not like a Fofana throwing his toys out the pram. He has got down, and when he's come on, he has been the better player.
Yeah, absolutely. Winks is class. That's what I said on the pitch. I don't really have any problems with him because he's a professional on the pitch. I just think he needed to work on his PR with the fans a little bit. And I think Marti's done that with Winks. He's wiping the slate clean with some of these players. Like, I don't know if you saw Ricardo's 15-minute interview on the Leicester City channel where they followed him around with his dog and went to the coffee shop with him and stuff. But Ricardo was like, it wasn't just the case of, oh, we've got a new season and a new manager and off we go. Like he said, and it's obvious to think that they still felt shit from last year. And Winks is going to be carrying that more because he had an extra shit season because he wasn't even really allowed to play. But we don't know the full story with him, but whenever he's been asked to come on for us, I think he's done a job. And he's been over to the fans the last few games as well. He's obviously had a lot going on. He's a new dad. And last year was awful. And some players react, inflammatory in those kind of situations. And it obviously happened with him and Ruud. I don't know what went on, but we know Ruud wasn't a fit for us. So
No. But that was then, and this is now. And again, as I said with Ricardo, I mean, yes, he's on 90 grand. He's the most expensive wage earner in the second tier, but he's on form. He changed the dynamic of the team when he came on before the window, when he was coming on as a striker. He's now as a sub. He's now with us till January. Let's make the most of it. Now, he went for this last week, and I agree with you to have James there, but Marty didn't agree with you, which is probably why he looks grumpy up in the top right. Either that or his trousers don't fit. He played him in that sort of 10 role, didn't he, just behind Ayew. But obviously I think if Ramsey hadn't got sent off, he wouldn't have been in that role. But I think this is more him. Or do you think he deserves? I mean, you've put him back there, so I'm guessing that's where you think he could, he's going to be better for us.
Yeah, I think so. He's your typical box-to-box midfielder, and I think he'll be the forward of the pivot with wings, but they can both play in the double pivot. So James will want to push on. We've heard him speak numerous times now about wanting to get in the box and help provide the option to score. So I would like to see those two partner up. I feel like he may still stick with Samare, which means Ayew will probably be the 9. But yeah, I'd like to just see. We'll see what happens. It's an away game as well, and West Brom aren't bad. So I would like to see those two link up. It may be that Ayew doesn't give enough in terms of outlet from those two back there. I'm not sure. Second half Ayew is different to first half Ayew for sure.
Yes.
So we'll just have to see. But if that happens, we need Ayew to work hard. We'll need Ricky P to bomb forward like he has been doing in possession. And we'll need to use the width more because they're likely to have a 3 in there, which could crowd us out a bit in the middle. They seem to flood our centre circle. They did that at Oxford and it happened last week as well. So we can feel a little bit outnumbered and a bit cramped in that area, but that's the perfect opportunity to use 2 pretty decent wingers.
Yeah, but I mean, because of that, do you think better that is down to Samare?
Down to what do you mean? What
the fact we were being overrun, and he's
maybe. I mean, he's just a bit of a mind fuck, isn't he? Like Samara, I think he's going to dominate. You think like the power of the guy, the speed of the guy. He's not bad on the ball, but he doesn't really want it. He panics a bit. He's very one-dimensional, but he doesn't quite give that outlet that you want him to. So he could be the reason why the play doesn't go so freely in that centre of the park. It's just when you see Winks and Ricky P, you realise how easy they make it. So it may be that we're overjudging Samare a bit there, but Winks for sure can just create space wherever.
I'm just worried that Samare will be the hill that Marty dies on if he's not careful. Look, I think James is the closest thing we've got to a KDH since KDH left. Samare doesn't fill that role. Winks likes to get forward as well, but I think the difference between Winks and Samare is the brain. And Winks will sort of, hang on, James has gone forward, I better sort of stay back and what have you. But I agree with that. Fatawu, I mean, you can't not start him. He's got to be the first or second name sort of on the pitch, hasn't he? Mavididi is an interesting one.
Hang on a minute. I didn't pick Mavididi, did I? I didn't pick Mavididi.
Did you not?
I picked Monga.
I'm sorry, I saw the M.
And then you couldn't read.
I apologise. You did indeed. You picked Monga. Well, all right. I apologise, everybody. It's Monga, not Mavididi. Wayne's just gone to get the spare box of tissues because Monga's in there. Sorry, Wayne. So that basically answered my question. Is after his miss last week, do you now drop Mavididi? Obviously, the answer for yourself is yes.
The answer for me is yes, and it's a big but. I am not the manager. So to drop Mavididi in Marty's position, you don't want to crush his already low confidence. and almost punish him for missing those chances. So, but similarly, I thought Monga was electric when he came on, and he really threatens the back line. But when he's started, Monga has started quite quietly.
Yes.
So it's a bit of a conundrum there, and I'll leave that to Marty because he gets paid for that decision, not me. But I just think from leading with my heart and what I would love to see more of, I want to see more of Monga. So that's why I've put him in there.
I do. I agree with you. He is. Look, we know he's. We've got to make the most of him while we've got him, because at some point we will sort of get a lot of money for him. And like you, I was just a bit concerned when he starts. He doesn't have the impact. And we look at. I went off Kate then, says Wayne. But to me, I think you may have said this as well. Mavididi kind of wears them down, and then this young upstart comes on that he's got three around him. He does a twist, a nutmeg.
I know. He disappears up in those shorts, and then he's through on goal, isn't he? Exactly.
Yes, yeah. So that is my worry. And of course, we do know as well. Has he got somebody doing his homework for him in the changing room while the match is going on?
I mean, I'll give it a go if it means he can play more.
There is that to consider.
But Mavididi did all right last week. I know we obviously talk about the obvious stuff last weekend, but I thought overall his play was all right. Like, he was pushing at the fullbacks, and
Mavididi, do you mean?
Yeah, he was getting himself about a bit, and he showed a bit more tenacity. So it may be that you just keep plugging away with that, because he's still a good player, and I feel like we've not seen the best of him. I just want him to not let some of the poorer moments in his game get into his head too much.
Yeah, I mean, I've been screaming for ages, for God's sake, just take the shot first time. Stop trying to always get it on your left foot, or
taking
just
a touch is just. It shows you how the championships come on, because we know you don't have time to take a touch in the Prem, because half a second and they're on you, and it's kind of a bit like that in the championship now. The defences are better; they're improving every year, and he just doesn't have that time to take a touch and hitting it early.
But when he did, he shot it straight at the bloody goalkeeper.
Yeah.
So
it's that little bit of quality, but you want to kind of stick with him maybe just to get some momentum. And
yes, again, he's one of those. Sorry,
you don't want to crucify him for.
No, I mean his face at the end when it screened, the camera went on to him. I think again somebody said they couldn't find a child that was crying, so they went on to Mavididi.
But he shows he cares, and he does care, and he'll want to put it right. And I bet he's hoping, well, he'll know by now if he's in tomorrow, but I bet he's hoping he's in tomorrow so he can try and put it right a bit. And look, there's loads of Vardy miss sitters in the past few years. They've all been there and miss sitters. I just think that with Vardy and the kind of more elite mentality of these players is that they always know another chance is coming again soon, and I need to be on it.
Yes, it might be again. He starts one. Sorry, it might be that he starts one against West Brom, one against Wrexham, and I think as well he knows. Certainly, in my mind, when I look at his performances, I'm always comparing him to Fatawu, because last time we were in this league, they were both, and we thought they were going to tear the Premier League a good one. Plus, he's got Monga chomping at his heels to get in, and that's probably been a little bit unfair to him. But I would start with Mavididi, and because it is the West Brom is the sort of more difficult game, and bring Monga on. But I can see why you've done that.
Also, it might be a bit of a selection headache for Marty, but Mavididi can also play in the 10. So, if Monga comes could he be the 10? He's got a few strings to his bow, Mavididi has.
Yeah. And I think as well, I've said before, I think for me, if needed, Fatawu, Mavididi, and even Monga, all of them could, if needed, play in that 10 position.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've got quite a choice there, really. We've not quite hit that spot yet. We know Bilal was good at it, but Bilal's stats weren't great. He didn't create and score enough from that 10 position. So, it may be that the introduction of Julian, which we're going to be speaking about in a minute, might just be the link that we're looking for to make things happen in that end of the pitch.
Well, talking about links, you went for Winks as your man of the match, as indeed did Alan. I went for Ayew, as indeed did the other guys that were on the show. This, and you've got him as a number, is that in that role, and I think that is the role for him. I think for me, I did say he would be the main starter, subject to us bringing somebody in, which we now have done. But when you look at, and I'm conscious of the time for you here, so but when this is Ayew's heat map from Coventry. Sorry.
Is any of it hot?
I've had to. Well, unfortunately, the site I get it from, which is whoscored.com, they do it dark blue with a slightly lighter blue for the heat bits, and it doesn't show up. So this is the only colour where you can actually look. It does look like you've got a rash or something, doesn't it?
Yeah, you need to do the glass test on it.
Yeah, but it's the only one where it really shows up, so you can appreciate it. So where Ayew is sort of Stolarchic's end, and the other end was the Coventry end. I mean, you don't want your main striker to be doing that, do you?
No, it's probably just some deep-rooted habits, I would think. But yeah, I noticed on against Coventry last weekend that he was dropping really deep. I think at one point he was at right back. At one point he was in the centre circle when we were bombing forward.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's what happens, though, when these sort of well-seasoned pros spot weaknesses in the midfield. There was a weakness in the midfield last week. We weren't good enough in the midfield. Winks was great and JJ was great, but Samare was weak, and we weren't getting enough done in that engine room in that part of the pitch. And I think when people like George and Jamie did the same, Jamie would, in the latter stages of his time with us, came back into that deep role as well to get the ball and pick it up and lay it off. And sometimes that's part of the manager's plan. Enzo was a big fan of that. But for Jordan, he hasn't got the same energy levels as Jamie, so he needs to stay in that upper end of the pitch to try and create or score.
Yes, yeah. I mean, people were criticising. Look, again, when the wingers got the ball, he wasn't in the box to be on the end of it when he was sort of the striker, and he was still sort of in the centre area. I don't criticise him for that, because he is, he's 32 now or something, and
I think he's 34.
Is he 34? Right. So I mean, it's asking a lot of a 34-year-old to keep up with the likes of Patu and Mavadidi. But he does his job. It's a role he's been asked to do. But when we've got, Jesus Christ up front, as we'll call him from now on, JC, like you say, I think that is the better role. So you would have him there, obviously, as you have done, over James. We've got to see this. I mean, when he came on, I thought, wow, this guy was really up for it.
Yeah, I thought he did really well, naturally slotted in, did some great link-up play, offloading, pass and go, all the things that you expect from your number 9. And he had a decent header, which he kind of generated himself. Yeah, he looked really good. I mean, it was only 15 minutes, obviously, against a team that had 75 minutes in their legs. So, but I think I was still a bit wary when I saw him. I had no expectation, simply because Marti kept saying in the interview on the BBC podcast that he will need time. So I kept thinking, maybe he's just going to take a while to bed in and get used to the pace of the English league and blah, blah, blah. But not a jot of it. He came on and looked really seasoned. He looked like he'd been doing this for a while. It was nice to see someone electric in that area. It's been so long. Obviously Vardy was electric, but he wasn't in his last few seasons. So it's nice to see a young, hungry striker come in who happens just to be really handsome as well.
Not that you're letting that affect your judgment at all.
No.
If I said that about Alessia Russo and the England team, I would get pilloried.
Yeah, Julian.
So yeah, no, I want to see him as well. Like I say, within a couple of minutes of coming on, he was in there. He was creating chances or getting on the end of them. He's got to start at some point, hasn't he? So I think this is the time.
And he's only on loans. We've only got him for 40 games. So
yeah. Well, obviously with the option at the end of that, but let's see what he can do for those 40 games, like you say. And like, I don't think Daka's going to start this season unless there's an injury or a sending off. So we will. Daka will come on at the end because he gives you that speed that you probably need at the end. But I think may have asked you this before, but when we're defending corners, Ayew's back, and against Coventry, quite a few times it was Ayew that was heading the ball out when the corners came in. But surely you keep your striker in that centre circle on the halfway line.
Well, you just keep somebody in that centre circle. Vardy was one of the best headers in the box, and he was always on the near post. So Vardy never used to be up the pitch when we took corners. So you want someone up the pitch, and it would probably be me, someone like Ayew. Because he doesn't offer a lot in the box, but he's got the pace and ball ability to be able to push on if the ball all of a sudden comes out. And I think when Jordan is such a good header of the ball, you do need him in that defensive way, like Vardy used to be with corners as well. He was one of the best headers of the ball, even though he's probably one of the shortest in the team. So, but you definitely leave a couple up. I mean, I used to love that about Ranieri. If you leave two up, they've got to leave their three centre backs up, and it just completely takes the venom out of a corner kick.
Yeah.
As for our own corner kicks, bloody hell! I mean, can someone please put a decent corner in?
Jordan Ayew, in fairness, has been the best so far this season.
A very, very low bar. Like, oh my god.
Well, he gets it past the first man, which then becomes a good corner.
More to take absolute shot.
But no, apart from Mavididi Monga, I would completely agree with you there, Kate. Have you got time for a very quick question? I know you're on your lunch and you're rushing. This is not Leicester related, but it is Championship related. Blackburn Ipswich got called off last weekend.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And I was listening to Simon Jordan and Mr. Jim White on TalkSport earlier, having a bit of a go at each other. That game has got to be replayed in its entirety, surely.
Do you think so? See, I think the opposite.
Do you? Interesting.
Wasn't it 80 minutes that had gone?
79 minutes, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think the result should stand. But that's my view.
Well, that's what Blackburn are asking for, isn't it?
Yeah. Were they the ones they were winning, though, weren't they?
They were winning, exactly. Apparently there will be the decision by the end of the week.
Oh, God, how is this not written in the rules already?
Apparently it is very ambiguous.
Oh, of course it is. Of course it is. Because they can change the rules as they like, depending on who it impacts the most and whether it's a big club or not. Oh, my God, change the record.
I know, and I've got to say, it's not often I agree with Simon Jordan. I love the fact that he knows what he's talking about, but doesn't necessarily mean that because of obviously what he's done in the past. But he's saying, what's the problem? It should just be clear cut, now.
Very common occurrence, particularly 30 years ago, pre-underground heating and drainage. It was so common.
Yeah.
And it happens a lot in the lower leagues anyway, with games get called off and stuff. So what happens then? Or do they just not care because they're only little lower leagues, right?
I don't know. I mean, all that was missing was Steve Lynix doing the breaststroke in the centre circle, wasn't it? But yeah,
I can see both sides of it. 80 minutes is the majority of the game, but also I think it should tie in as to whether you give fans their money back, because there's definitely a cut-off point for that it's a certain amount of time is played.
All right, yeah.
They don't get their money back.
Yes.
If you're going to replay the match in the entirety, then the fans should go again for free.
I hadn't thought about that, but that is a very, very, very good point.
All tie in with that.
The problem is, though, if you do play the game in its entirety, and you Well, the other thing Simon Jordan was said, and you're too young to remember this, but we got promoted one year. It was Fulham was I think it was Malcolm McDonald was manager of Fulham, and they got a draw or something in their last game, but the crowd came on the pitch with sort of 3 or 4 minutes to go, and the game was abandoned. But the FA said no, the result stops. And as he said, if it's something that you've created, as in an invasion of the pitch, then yes, it should stand. But this was unforeseen. But then to throw it into the mix, they had a player sent off. Now, depending when you replay that, do you then say, right, after however many minutes, I'm not sure when he got sent off, but let's say he got sent off after 70 minutes, then at 70 minutes, do you take him off? It's the same scenario. And if he's not playing because he's injured or whatever when this game is played, do you then take off another player, or do you take somebody off that is playing that position?
Yeah, that's what I mean. If you get it to be replayed when 80 minutes of the game has gone, you open a can of worms, and that's probably what they're deliberating in their little mothers' meeting. That there's no clear-cut rule, and also you've got the caveats of sendings off and all sorts, and a goal. You've got a goal to consider. 1-0 up, weren't they? It wasn't a 0-0.
No, they were 1-0 up, Blackburn.
I think there just should be a cut-off time. It's a bit like the Duckworth-Lewis, isn't it? In cricket, everything just gets adjusted.
Quite possibly, but I have no idea what the Duckworth-Lewis is.
Oh, right. Okay, well, the Duckworth-Lewis method is kind of to adjust the game for weather stuff. So,
right.
And it often favours the team that have the score on the board, actually. So I just can't believe it's not been written. But then I can, because that's why they hated us, because we called them out on a rule that wasn't written.
Yes.
Absolutely ridiculous in 2020.
I mean, if they do replay it, let's say, and there is a precedent for this, and the precedent for it is actually Leicester City, when we gave Nottingham Forest a goal was it the League Cup?
Yeah.
And we had changed managers in the meantime for Martin Allen.
That was after Clark's heart attack, wasn't it?
It was indeed, yes. Martin Allen had gone, Gary Megson had come in, although he came in and we hadn't apparently given him a contract, which seems so strange. But obviously we kicked off the replay. There's only 45 minutes gone in that, but we gave them the goal back.
Yeah, it's fraught with problems if we're going to replay that match, because with the red card issue.
Yes.
And it's not fair, because the people who have got the goal and had the man advantage completely lose that advantage of the same fixture, and 90% of the game had gone.
Yeah. And you know who's going to lose out the most on this? And it's the fans.
Yeah.
Well, what do we expect? Kate, you're on your lunch. Really do appreciate you coming in. We'll see if Marty's listened this week. I'll send him a copy of this.
Didn't you put Mavadidi in?
Well, yes, but I think I know I can't guarantee that he'll start. But look, that's the one we'll agree to disagree on. We agree on everything. We've got to disagree on something. We said that, didn't we?
No, this is true, and I am 50-50 on it. I just went with my heart that I want to see a bit more of Jeremy.
And he's quite good looking.
He's done his homework.
Yeah, well, exactly. All right, thank you very much. Are you going tomorrow night?
I am, yeah.
Well, have a safe journey there. Let us know your thoughts when the team comes out, if you normally do. So we appreciate that. Yeah, but have a safe journey and bring back the 3 points.
We'll try. See you later.
Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye bye. So thanks very much to Kate there. And I apologise for the delays in the start, but we are sort of, Kate is on a lunch, so you get caught with the customer, and it always happens. You can be quiet all morning, then as soon as you need to go on your lunch or an appointment, the phone goes and you're on for hours. I will be back at 6:30 with Josh. The 2 worst people to host a prediction show. guess what? We weren't the worst this week. There was a lot worse. Names will be named. Yes. And can I just say, this show has been brought to you by Trump Productions. I think he's a wonderful guy. Please don't... Can I sack myself? Please don't sack me. And I will see you at 6:30. Take care. Thanks to everybody that was in. Smash the likes, subscribe, share the video. There's something else you can do, and I've forgotten what it is. Boost it, whatever it is. And if you're listening on podcast, thanks for lending me your ears. I'll see you at 6:30 with Josh. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network.
TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.